the Pharisees. What did they believe? How influential were they? Why did Yahushua criticize them so harshly? The Pharisees were a New Testament political, religious group of influential Jews active in Palestine from the 2nd century BC through the 1st century AD. They originated roughly around 150 BC from a group of scribes and sages who hearkened back to the days of the prophet Ezra and the Great Assembly. They had great influence with the masses. The Jewish historian Josephus, who was one of the Pharisees himself, stated the following about them. And concerning these things it is that great disputes and differences have arisen among them, while the Sadducees are able to persuade none but the rich, and have not the populace obsequious, obedient, or giving deference to them. But the Pharisees have the multitude on their side. Antiquities of the Jews, Book 13, Chapter 10. While their rivals received backing from the rich and elite, the Pharisees were popular with the people, who considered them the highest religious authority. They were especially influential in local synagogues. Yahushua referenced their authority when he said they sat in Moses' seat, Matthew 23:2. Yahushua teaches Pharisees using tribute money. Yahushua teaches using tribute money. The New Testament Greek word for this group is Phariseos, Strong's Concordance #G5330. It comes from the Hebrew word parish, Strong's Concordance #H6567, which means to separate or disperse or separated ones. They separated themselves not only from the heathen but also from other influences that regularly came into Palestine. They advocated and adhered to a scrupulous observance of both the written and oral laws as interpreted by scribes, in accordance with tradition. The Pharisees also believed that in addition to the written Torah, the first 5 books of the Old Testament, there existed yet another Torah. This other Torah was the oral Torah, oral tradition, or traditions of the elders, Matthew 15:1-2. It comprised interpretations of the law that they thought God verbally gave to Moses, but which were not included in the written version of the law. They asserted that the written Torah was not complete in and of itself and needed the oral Torah. This is why Yahushua was against them. Do you think that the Most High would forget to add something to the laws? He added what was comfortable for them. Also note they were Jews, not Yashirol. Listen here and their rabbi will tell you.
Claim to be from the tribes of Israel. Someone asked me, well, are they Jewish? And I say no, because the term Jew actually comes from Judean, the Judean kingdom, the descendants of the Judean kingdom, who, from Ezra and Nehemiah, coded the law. They wrote down, the 2,000 years ago, they wrote down the law, the Mishnah. So anyone who's one with 613 commandments, that is how you become a Jew. To be one with 613 commandments and the oral interpretations has been passed down. Now, one with 613 commandments, that is how you become a Jew. To be one with 613 commandments and the oral interpretations has been passed down. Now, someone who is from the house of Israel who got lost amongst the nations, the term would be Zerah Yisrael, or the seed of Israel, someone from the seed of Israel. And someone who is from the house of Israel who got lost amongst the nations, the term would be Zerah Yisrael, or the seed of Israel, someone from the seed of Israel. And every single day, and all over the scriptures, you'll see these two entities, the people of Judah and the Israelites. And Jews.
Traditions in New Testament. The New Testament mentions several traditions practiced by the Pharisees. They fasted often, Matthew 9:14. Luke 18:12, and ceremonially washed their hands often, especially before eating bread. They believed unwashed hands were defiled. They also frequently washed cups, pots, pitchers, tables, and other things used in preparing and eating food. For the Pharisees and all the Jews, holding fast to the tradition of the elders, do not eat unless they wash their hands thoroughly. Even when coming from the market, they do not eat unless they first wash themselves. And there are many other things that they have received to observe, such as the washing of cups and pots and brass utensils and tables, Mark 7:3-4. HBFV. The Pharisees additionally held to the false belief that contributions dedicated to the temple called Korban, or a gift to God, were more important and took precedence over helping their father and mother, the 5th commandment. Then Yahushua said to them, full well do you reject the commandment of God, so that you may observe your own tradition. For Moses said, honor your father and your mother, and the one who speaks evil of father or mother, let him be put to death. But you say, if a man shall say to his father or mother, whatever benefit you might receive from me is Korban, that is, set aside as a gift to God, he is not obligated to help his parents. Mark 7-9-11, HBFV. These religious leaders even went so far as considered plucking an ear of corn to eat on the Sabbath as work, and of breaking the 4th commandment, Matthew 12:1-2. Pharisaic leaders were called rabbis or teachers, Matthew 23:6-7. John 3:1-10, and often attracted disciples to themselves, Mark 2:18, Matthew 22:16, Luke 5:33. Some of them were members of the Sanhedrin, the supreme council of the Jews that had jurisdiction over Jewish matters. Acts 5:34. Opposition. The Gospel accounts portray the Pharisees as opposing both John the Baptist Luke 7:30 and Yahushua Matthew 12:38-39, 15:12, John 7:47-48. They also, early in Yahushua ministry, plotted with the Herodians to kill him. Mark 3-6. Not all of them, however, were against the gospel or opposed it all of the time. Some of them, like Nicodemus, were favorable to Yahushua and believed in his message. John 3-1-2, John 7:50. The early church was composed of many of them. Acts 15-5. Some of Yahushua's harshest criticisms given during his ministry were against the Pharisees. This was likely due to their popularity with the masses and that most people considered them the highest religious authority as opposed to the Sadducees. From https://www.biblestudy.org/beginner/New Testament groups divided by Pharisees.html. Note the Pharisees was not Eve Yasharel. They were a group of converts, but what they also don't tell you is, conflicts between Pharisees and Sadducees took place in the context of much broader and long-standing social and religious conflicts among Jews, made worse by the Roman conquest. One conflict was cultural, between those who favored Hellenization, the Sadducees, and those who resisted it, the Pharisees. Another was juridical religious, between those who emphasized the importance of the temple with its rites and services, and those who emphasized the importance of other Mosaic laws. A specifically religious point of conflict involved different interpretations of the Torah and how to apply it to current Jewish life, with Sadducees recognizing only the written Torah and rejecting prophets, writings, and doctrines such as the oral Torah and the resurrection of the dead. What is Hellenization?
Hellenization, also spelled Hellenization or Hellenism, is the adoption of Greek culture, religion, language, and identity by non-Greeks. In the ancient period, colonization often led to the Hellenization of indigenous peoples. In the Hellenistic period, many of the territories which were conquered by Alexander the Great were Hellenized. Under the Eastern Roman Byzantine Empire, much of its territory was Hellenized. No, Greek has nothing to do with Eve Yasharel or the Most High Yah. The Greeks believed in many deities. The Hellenistic Seleucid and Ptolemaic kingdoms that formed after Alexander's death were particularly relevant to the history of Judaism. Located between the two kingdoms, Judea experienced long periods of warfare and instability. Judea fell under Seleucid control in 198 BC. By the time Antiochus IV Epiphanes became king of Judea in 175 BC, Jerusalem was already somewhat Hellenized. In 170 BC, both claimants to the high priesthood, Jason and Menelaus, bore Greek names. Jason had established institutions of Greek education, and in later years Jewish culture started to be suppressed, including forbidding circumcision and observance of the Sabbath. Hellenization of members of the Jewish elite included names and clothes, but other customs were adapted by the rabbis, and elements that violated the halakha and midrash were prohibited. One example is the elimination of some aspects of Hellenistic banquets, such as the practice of offering libations to the gods, while incorporating certain elements that gave the meals a more Jewish character. Discussion of scripture, the singing of sacred songs, and attendance of students of the Torah were encouraged. One detailed account of Jewish style
So the Pharisees taught the opposite of what the Most High told us to do. Here are the commandments just to give you a brush up.
You shall have no other Elohim before me. You shall not make unto you any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down yourself to them, nor serve them. For I Eloheka am a jealousel, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and guard my commandments. You shall not take the name of Eloheka in vain, for Elohim will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. Remember the day of the Shabbath, to keep it holy. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is the Shabbath of Yahushua. In it you shall not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger that is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahushua made the heavens, and the earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore Yahushua blessed the day of Shabbath, and hallowed it. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which Abba gives you. You shall not murder. You shall not break wedlock. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not lust after your neighbor's house. You shall not lust after your neighbor's woman, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is your neighbor's. Shemoth Exodus 20-3-17 at Sephir. And with the law of circumcision. And Abraham did according as Elohim had said unto him. And he took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and whom he had bought with his money, every male in his house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin. And on the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and all the men of his house, and all those, whom he had bought with money from the children of the stranger, were circumcised with him. This Torah is for all the generations forever, and there is no circumcision of the days, and no omission of 1 day out of the 8 days, for it is an eternal ordinance, ordained and written on the heavenly tablets. And everyone that is born, the flesh of whose foreskin is not circumcised on the 8th day, belongs not to the children of the covenant which Yahushua made with Abraham, but to the children of destruction. Nor is there, moreover, any sign on him that he is Yahushua, but he is destined to be destroyed and slain from the earth, and to be rooted out of the earth, for he has broken the covenant of Yahushua Eloheinu. For all the angels of the presence and all the angels of sanctification have been so created from the day of their creation. And before the angels of the presence and the angels of sanctification he has sanctified Yashurel, that they should be with him and with his holy angels. And do you command the children of Yeshurel, and let them observe the sign of this covenant for their generations as an eternal ordinance, and they will not be rooted out of the land. Yavhalim Jubilees 15:23-28 at Sephir. Now to what Yahushua had to say about the Pharisees.
And were baptized of him in the Jordan, confessing their sins. But when he saw many of the Parashiym and Sadducees come to his baptism, he said unto them, O offspring of vipers, who has warned you to flee from the wrath to come? Matthew Matthew 3-6-7 at Sephir. Then came to Yahushua scribes and Parashiym, which were of Jerusalem, saying, Why do your Talmudim transgress at the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them, Why do ye also transgress the commandment of Elohim by your tradition? For Elohim commanded, saying, Honor your father and your mother, and he that curses father or mother, let him die the death. But ye say, Whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, It is a gift, by whatsoever you might be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have ye made the commandment of Elohim of no effect by your tradition. Ye hypocrites, well did Yeshayahu prophesy of you, saying, This people draws nigh unto me with their mouth, and honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Matthew 15-1-9 at Sephir. The Parashiym also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, When it is evening, ye say, It will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? A wicked and adulterous nation seeks after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonah. And he left them and departed. And when his Talmudim were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread. Then Yahushua said unto them, Take heed and beware of the leaven of the Parashiym and of the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have taken no bread. But when Yahushua perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves? But woe unto you, scribes and Parashiym, hypocrites! For ye shut up at the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. Woe unto you, scribes and Parashiym, hypocrites! For ye devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer, therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Parashiym, hypocrites! For ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, ye make him twofold more the child of Jehinnom than yourselves. Woe unto you, ye blind guides, which say, Whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing, but whosoever shall swear by the gold of the temple, he is a debtor. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater, the gold, or the temple that sanctifies the gold? And whosoever shall swear by the altar, it is nothing, but whosoever swears by the gift that is upon it, he is guilty. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater, the gift, or the altar that sanctifies the gift? Whoso therefore shall swear by the altar, swears by it, and by all things thereon. And whoso shall swear by the temple, swears by it, and by him that dwells therein. And he that shall swear by heaven, swears by the throne of Elohim, and by him that sits thereon. Woe unto you, scribes and Parashiym, hypocrites! For ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted at the weightier matters of the Torah, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave at the other undone. Ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat, and swallow at a camel. Woe unto you, scribes and Parashiym, hypocrites! For ye make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. You blind Parashee! Cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Parashiym, hypocrites! For ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones, and of all uncleanness. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe unto you, scribes and Parashiym, hypocrites! Because ye build the tombs of the prophets, and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, If we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves, that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets. Fill ye up then the measure of your fathers. Ye serpents, ye offspring of vipers, how can ye escape the damnation of Jehinnom? Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets, and wise men, and scribes, and some of them ye shall kill and crucify, and some of them shall ye scourge in your synagogues, and persecute them from city to city, that upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zechariah son of Berechiah, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar. Matthew 23:13-35 at Sefer.
So who are the Pharisees today? Let's use discernment on that answer. This is the teachings of the Pharisees, the Hellenistic teachings. 1. Jason had established institutions of Greek education, and in later years Jewish culture started to be suppressed, including forbidding circumcision and observance of the Sabbath. 2. Elimination of some aspects of Hellenistic banquets, such as the practice of offering libations to the gods, while incorporating certain elements that gave the meals a more Jewish character. 3. The singing of sacred songs. 4. Hellenism has historically been a pluralistic religion with beliefs ranging between polytheism, animism, and monism, although a Hellenist may hold beliefs that fall into all of these categories. Additionally, there are other interpretations of divinity in line with Hellenistic philosophies, like Epicureanism. Hellenism is, in practice, primarily centered around polytheistic and animistic worship. 5. Devotees worship the Greek gods, which include 12 Olympians, divinities and spirits of nature, underworld deities, and heroes. Both physical and spiritual ancestors are greatly honored. The gods exhibit both universal and local qualities. For the Greeks, their gods were at the same time universal, found everywhere and powerful over the whole world, and intensely local, manifesting themselves in particular places. 6. There are many festivals throughout the year that many seek to celebrate, where the dates are often set by the lunisolar Attic calendar. The festivals typically commemorate events in Greek history, honoring deities that the festivals celebrate, and connote spiritual themes. The celebrations incorporate religious themes, arts, sacrifices, and offerings, family get-togethers, and feasts. Popular sacred days are Deipnon, Naumenia, and Agathos Daemon.
And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear you, when ye depart thence, shake off the dust under your feet for a testimony against them. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Sodom and Amorah in the day of judgment, than for that city. Mark 6:11 Sefer.
you.